I thank you for watching this video today. We have a special book, The Miracles of Jesus. Now, boys and girls, you know what a miracle is where God does something that no human being can do. He breaks the laws of nature in a good way. So like someone may have died and Jesus touches them and prays for them, brings them back to life. Only God can do that. And there's mystery meaning we can't always understand it. But miracles are always good. And they remind us by miracles that God lives among us. And miracles still happen today. Now these are some of the stories of the miracles that Jesus did when he walked the earth. So the first one, Jairus' daughter. Jesus traveled all over Galilee. It was Jesus' job to show the world that God loved all people. So in many places, Jesus performed miracles like healing the sick and even raising people from the dead. So there is Jesus just laying his hands on people and asking God the Father to bless them and to heal them. One day, a man named Jairus came up to Jesus. Jairus was an important man in the community. Jairus needed help from Jesus. So you see Jesus there talking to a little child, much like you, and then all at once, a young man comes running up. And what we're going to find out is that his daughter is very sick. Jairus said to Jesus, "Teacher." And it's curious there that Jesus is often called teacher, someone who knows a lot and shares his wisdom with us. "Teacher, my daughter is sick. Please put your hands on her, and I know she will be healed." Jesus could tell Jairus had faith, which means that he believed in God and the love of God. So Jesus went with Jairus. So there Jairus is asking Jesus, "Come, see my daughter." A large crowd followed. A very sick woman was in the crowd. She reached out to touch Jesus' clothes. Jesus felt some power from God coming out of him, going into the woman. And Jesus asked, "Who touched me?" So as he was going to see Jairus' daughter, big crowd of people followed, and this woman who was sick touched his clothes, like touched his pants basically. And Jesus said, "Who touched me?" "Oh, there's so many people are touching him." "Who touched me?" "I felt power come out of me." The woman then stepped forward and she said, "It was me." And Jesus smiled. Just love that. Jesus smiled and said to the woman, "You're filled with great faith. Go in peace." And the woman was healed. And Jesus then went on walking. Because remember, he's going to Jairus' house to talk and see about Jairus' daughter, who was very sick. Soon some people ran up to Jairus and Jesus and they said, "Jairus, your daughter has died." But Jesus said, "Come on, Jairus, let's go in. She's just sleeping." So they continued to walk to Jairus' home. So you still got the big crowd. Some came back from the house saying, "She's dead." But Jesus says, "No, she's not dead. She's not dead." Jesus and Jairus walked into the house. They went to see the little girl, and Jesus said, "Little girl, get up." And the girl stood up. And you notice she's smiling. Jairus' daughter was alive. And when that miracle took place, because she really was dead, when that miracle took place, Jairus' faith grew ever stronger. Now here's another story, another miracle, a special event Jesus did to show that he was God and that God works through us. Jesus left Jairus and his family. He continued to travel and to teach. And there Jesus is, waving goodbye to Jairus and to his daughter who had come back to life. One day, a large crowd was following Jesus. They listened to him preach. Now, Jesus and his followers were tired and hungry. Jesus had a plan. He said, let's find a place to rest. It will be good for all of us. So there's Jesus and his followers. And back here, if you can see it, there's hundreds of people, maybe even thousands of people following Jesus. That's a lot of people. And they're all getting tired, and they're all getting hungry. So Jesus and his friends got into a boat and sailed for a while. Some people on shore recognized them. When Jesus and his disciples arrived back on shore, there was another huge crowd. So that whole crowd was there, and they're getting hungry and stuff. Went in the boat, went to the other side. The people had run around and got there ahead of them. And they're all meeting Jesus and his followers. So Jesus began to teach again. Soon it was very late. Everyone, even Jesus, was getting tired and hungry. One of the disciples said, Jesus, send the people to the nearest town to get some food. It's getting late. So there's that guy, some guy coming up to Jesus saying, hey, tell somebody to go and get some food. We got a lot of people here to feed. And this is where the miracle is going to take place. But Jesus said, we should feed them. Go find some food to share. The disciples knew it would cost a lot of money to feed all the people. There must have been at least 5,000 men alone. And Philip said to Jesus, it will cost way too much. So the disciples were pretty worried. How can we feed all these people? Then Andrew, a follower of Jesus, came up to Jesus. He said, this boy has 5 small barley loaves, like 5 loaves of bread, and 2 small fish. It is all we can find. Can this possibly be enough? Jesus smiled and said, let them all sit down. So there's the little boy with a few little loaves of bread and the fish. And remember, there's 5,000 people plus his followers. And they're all getting hungry and tired, and they're trying to find food to feed everybody. And all they have is that little amount. Jesus took the bread and the fish. He gave thanks to God for the food and broke the food into smaller pieces to share. The disciples went out into the crowd to feed everyone. It was a miracle. All the people had enough to eat. And when they gathered up the leftover food, because it's always good to never throw food away, to save it for the next time, there were now, remember we started with 5 loaves and 2 fish. There now were 12 baskets of food left. A miracle happened. Everybody had food. God multiplied the food. They gathered the leftovers. They now have 12 baskets of food. Jesus performed many more miracles that are in the Bible. Some of them that we know: turning the water into wine, healing a blind man, raising Lazarus from the dead, healing a man who was paralyzed. But the only two miracles that are in all 4 Gospels are Jesus' resurrection and the feeding of the 5,000. So from this little book, we're just reminded that this Jesus whom we love and we believe in and that we pray to, he continued to work 2,000 years ago. He continues to work in your life and in mine. Thank you for listening to this reading today.